y'all, Shay here. How is everybody doing? Welcome to this week's WIP and Chat. WIP stands for Work in Progress, and we're gonna chat. So I normally go for about an hour, so go ahead and grab something to drink. I've got my coffee here. It is Wednesday morning for me and Thursday for you. If you're watching this the day that it comes out, it is about 9:57 in the morning for me. So almost 10 in the morning. Kind of got 2 out of the 3 off to school. And so I finally sat down to do a WIP and Chat with y'all. So how are you? First things first, how are you? Are you good? If you're not, please let me know. I hope your day gets better. We got to take care of ourselves. I know it's so hard, and I say it all the time, and sometimes I don't, well, a lot of times I don't practice what I preach, but it's a good reminder to remind ourselves to take care of ourselves and to, self-care is important. So yeah, let me get a sip of my coffee. So yes, is this making anybody nervous? Seeing a coffee cup on a diamond painting? I know, right? I know I'm living on the edge, y'all. This diamond painting is humongous. It is freaking big by freaking enormous, ginormous. It is so big. Some of you that have been with me for a little bit may remember this from last year. It is a reoccurring painting. It's one of my WIPs, my work in progresses, that I was working on last year during the fall. So thank you to one of my subscribers, Emma Handy, for reminding me that I had this one and to pull it back out because I had totally forgotten about it. So yeah, today's actually our last week. This is actually week, is it 5 already, I believe? But this is the last WIP and Chat for Oz and Og 2023, because the day that you're watching this is actually the 31st. So it's been a long month. But thank you so much to everybody that participated. I wanted to say thank you to all of our sponsors and thank you to you guys. I mean, I couldn't have done it without you. And we're definitely going to do it again next year if y'all want to do it. It was so fun. Again, thank you for all the Facebook participation, the Instagram, seeing all the paintings were just so fun. All the Wizard of Oz, elements. I was trying to make my Dorothy and Toto diamond painting last through the end of the month, but I just had to finish it. I was so close. I only had 1 square left, and I was just like taking my time. And I just said, you know what, I'm going to finish it. And maybe for the last WIP and Chat, I won't have it anymore, but it is finished. And if you do follow me on Instagram, you would have seen the completed painting because I did post it up there. So yes, but I just wanted to say thank you again. And during this video, I will be announcing the winner from last week. Okay. I did ask for the word heart, and y'all are so awesome. I loved all your comments that you left with the word heart in it. There were some really, really nice comments towards me. So thank you. It really meant a lot. It really, and I wasn't giving you that word for you to give me compliments, but a lot of you did. And it really meant a lot to me. So thank you. And yeah, we're going to be giving away some prizes. We're going to be doing some Sasha's 3D printed, the funnels for the Elizabeth Ward, and some trays. And then Kiona's Corner, she has the frames. So I'm going to be sending that stuff out. So yeah, watch this entire video and stay put, because if you definitely, did last week's WIP and Chat and put the word in there, you want to stay tuned and see if you won. Okay, so that'll be somewhere in this video. There will be no more giveaways because the event is over, unfortunately. And I am taking a little bit of a break from events for the next few months, because I was doing them the last couple of months. So, all right. So yes, thank you for everybody that's, that participated in Oz and Og. It was so fun. So really, really do appreciate it. Let's talk about this painting, okay? This is from Craftibly, and y'all know I love Craftibly. I am an affiliate, so if you have never ordered from them before, I do have I have a code, a discount code, and it's down in the description, and I also have a link. So if you wanna order from Craftibly, they've got a sale going on right now, so definitely go check them out. They've got some deep discounted items. So love Craftibly. This is, y'all aren't gonna believe this, but it's called, I'll tell you the dimensions, which is insane, because I don't really like large paintings, but this is something that, again, it's seasonal, it's something fun to pull out. This is from Craftibly, and it's called Autumn's Golden Moments. It's no longer available, unfortunately, because it was from last year. It's licensed artwork from David Rottinghouse, and here's the dimensions. It is a 56 by 24 inches, but we speak centimeters, most of us do. That means 142 centimeters by 60 centimeters. So it's like this and like this. So it's, it's long. I got it all rolled up. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and probably pop a picture of the Oh, great. They're mowing the grass right when I started filming. Hopefully that doesn't bother y'all, and hopefully you can't hear it. But yeah, I'll pop up a little picture of the entire image so you can see what the entire image looks like. It's gorgeous. It's got that little house right here. You can see a little piece of it. It's got the barn, which I'm working on now. It's got an apple tree. It's got the little, the old tractor sitting here. It's got a kid. I don't know if you can see him. Oh, he's like right here playing in the leaves. Got all the leaves. There's a lot of confetti, a ton of confetti, but loving the colors. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna be working on today. I have already done the two bottom rows through the entire 142 centimeters. The two bottom rows through the entire thing are done. And now I'm starting on the third row, and I'm on the third square. And then I just have 2 more rows left up here. So I don't know. I mean, if I start it now and continue to work on it, you know, off and on through the holidays, I might have another one going at the same time. I do want to do this for drills and chills, and I know it does have to be a new start. So I'm not doing it for prizes, but I just wanted to participate and, you know, give my friends some, you know, some love and support. So if you haven't heard about that community event, it's called Drills and Chills. I think there's a year labeled on it, but go check out Katie at Diamonds and Washi. That's the name of her YouTube channel. I'll have her link down below. And Lindsay, Emeralds and Fairy Lights. And they're both hosting Drills and Chills this year. It's I think it's 2 months long. But it's anything fall, scary, Halloween, all that good stuff. So yeah, but it does have to be a new start, and this is not, but I'm still gonna be kind of following along for fun. So that's my painting. You can see I've got my cover minder right here. I've got this beautiful kind of painted pumpkin. This is from Coverminder Saban, and I will have all these accessories and everything I'm using today linked down in the description. So if you're curious about anything or want to purchase it yourself. So this is a cover minder. It does have the magnet on the back. The other magnet is underneath the painting. I can feel it right there, and it holds back your plastic while you're diamond painting. Saban's cover minders are so nice. They're very, very heavy duty. They're like a piece of jewelry somebody had mentioned and described them as, and it's so true. It's very, very thick. They're gorgeous. So she gave this to me last year. So yeah, I'm using that. Got my pumpkin. I am using my orange tray. This is the first ever tray that I ever purchased from Munimade. I don't think I think she's upgraded quite a bit since, this is like 2 years old, 2 or 3 years old. So, old tray, but this is from Munimade. Okay. It's one of the bigger trays because, you know, a lot of colors. And then my tray right here, my resin little, what do you want to call it? Trinket tray, is from Lexi Sparkle Craft. And it's got the little feet on the bottom, and I went with kind of the yellow. I didn't really have it's kind of I think it matches. That was my thinking. In here I've got my gold tweezers, and I've got my paper cutter, my ceramic cutter to cut back my plastic for each section. And then my pens, I've got this pen that I got last year from Enabler's Outpost. It's one of the thicker pens, and you see all the pumpkins in there. So I thought it'd be perfect for this. So I got this from Enabler's Outpost last year. And then I've got this orange one that I also got last year, and this is from Diamond Pen Pal. Diamond Pen Pal has the flat edge on one of the sides, and it keeps it from rolling. It's a roll stop pen. So thought these would really go good with this painting. And what else? And I am using Elizabeth Ward storage containers. I've got 2 of those going because there are 71 colors. Yeah, there's a lot of colors, y'all. And there's, let's see, there's 2 crystals. We got 2 crystals and 2 ABs. And I'm not enhancing it with anything else. I didn't think it needed it. So far, I don't know if you can kind of see, there's little rhinestones. We got the crystals kind of sprinkled throughout here, the orange. So there's a lot of crystals. Like I said, there's this orange color. It's really pretty, and there's quite a few of them. There's a lot. So I've got that color. And then I'm excited about this one. There's a red for the apple tree in the barn. I think we're gonna be placing some of these down today. Yeah, we are. We're going to be using some of these. So I got this, and then look at this huge amount of yellow ABs. Yes, so lots of yellow ABs. And then the other AB is white. So you've got yellow, white, and then you've got the orange and red. So I thought that was just perfect to kind of accent the painting here and there. But I am loving this. It is it's round diamonds. So it's just, it's going to be slow going, but it was really fun to pull this back out and to revisit it. And we'll see if I can get it done this year. What I did last year with this painting is I pulled it out during Thanksgiving and I had it on our kitchen table, and we had all the family over, and I had a bunch of pens laid out in trays, and everybody just kind of, yeah, and I can kind of see there's different sections around the outside where last year people were painting with me, and it was just like laid out like a puzzle, you know, you'll have out during the holidays. So if you have a painting that you want to set out for Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever, just, you know, set it out and let kind of the family do it throughout the day, and it was really, really fun. Plus I got to diamond paint, so it was a great excuse to diamond paint while family was over. Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna start diamond painting. What else am I missing? I think I've covered everything I'm using. This is simply Gilded washi tape. Kind of get this gold, kind of a brown washi tape. It's one of their Stardust ones. So I've got that. And let me take one more sip of coffee before we get going. Oh, and I am using this little bucket. This is all I've got so far, but I got this at Michael's, and I just added some magnets to the back to the bottom of it with E6000, some glue, but it's just my little trash tray. And so, uh-oh, I don't want to tip it too much. And that's not necessarily the trash, that's just like rogue drills that may pop out of the tray that I find like later, and I don't know where they go, so I just kind of toss them in there. Okay, so how are you? What are we in? We're like 11 minutes in, and I asked you at the beginning, but I feel like I need to ask again. How is everybody? Are y'all okay? Is everybody doing okay? Hopefully the mowing's not bothering you. The mowers come on Wednesdays. I do feel bad for anybody that has to work outside, because it is just, I'm in Texas, for those of you that might be new. I am in Dallas, and it is just incredibly hot here. So I know they do have to start early in the day, you know, if you're gonna be working outside before it gets just blistering hot. Yeah. I did post on Instagram an interesting little chart that talked about the weather, and we've got like record-breaking August, because we had every day in August except for one day that was 94. Every other day in August was over 100 degrees. So yeah, we hit some records. I don't know if I like those records or if they're good to be breaking them, but yeah. So this is kind of getting me in the spirit, even though, you know, it's not quite weather that we need for fall yet, but it'll get there. It's coming. It is coming. I had my first, my daughter and I went to Starbucks the other day, and I had my first pumpkin spice latte. I had an iced one, of course, because it is, you know, 1 billion degrees outside. So yeah, we had our first one. It was so good. But I remember that from last year and years past, I normally have to ask for like less pumps of the pumpkin, the spice, whatever it is, the syrup, because it's a little too sweet and it kind of bothers my stomach. So I don't know how many pumps they put in it. Maybe 3? I don't know if y'all know, let me know. But I think I always ask for like maybe just 1 pump, because I don't want it too sweet. But it was good. And Lou got one, and we both just sipped on our pumpkin spice lattes. We were inside of a Starbucks, inside of a grocery store. So we just did some people watching and kind of hung out and just drank our drinks while we were at the store. So it was really nice. So let's see. Let's talk about what's been going on this last week with me. We've already kind of talked about some diamond painting stuff. You know, we talked about Oz and Og, which sadly is over, and I'm sad. It's been a lot of fun, but we'll definitely do it again next year. So keep the paintings that you have. If you weren't able to finish, no big deal. Keep them out. Normally I never ask for a new start. So yeah, just hold them out. If you don't want to finish them all, if you don't want to finish them and you want to stop them, just put them back and just pull them out again next year, and we'll do it again. So yeah, so let's talk about what's going on around here for me personally. Let's see. We're going to talk about Ryan, my oldest. For those of you that might be new, I do have 3 kids. I've got 2 boys and a girl. My boys are 18, 17, and then my daughter is now 11. So they keep me busy. My oldest graduated high school last year, and he is enrolled in community college, and he's been doing that. And then my other son is a junior in high school, and then my daughter Lou. So we've got Ryan, Nate, and Lauren, who we call Lou, and then Lou's in 5th grade. So yeah, that's what we're doing here. And then I got 3 dogs. I've got 2 Boston Terriers and a Frenchie, a little French Bulldog. So they keep us busy. But yeah, let's talk about Ryan. He kind of had a lot going on last week. So that's, you know, kind of a lot of what we'll talk about today. So my oldest Ryan, he has been struggling for quite some time with stomach problems. You know, like for instance, you know, he'll go all day without eating. Just his, you know, his appetite is just not there. And then when he would sit down to eat at the dinner table, he would look at his food and say, "Oh, I don't feel hungry anymore." He would take a bite and say he felt nauseous. It's been going on for a while, and he's very thin, so he's not able to put on any weight. And if anything, he's been losing weight, which he can't really afford to because he's already thin. He is, let's see, about 5'8". Yeah, 5'8", 5'8.5", and he weighs about 110 pounds. So that'll kind of give you an idea of, you know, he's tall and lanky. And so, you know, we've been dealing with this for, you know, several months and just kind of trying to figure out what it could be. We did take him to his, the doctor, the pediatrician. He still goes to our pediatrician. She's awesome. And she put him on, like, you know, she said he might just have a little bug or something. And she gave us some fiber gummies to purchase over the counter. And yeah, didn't really do too much else. So we tried that and it just didn't help. Nothing was getting better. So I finally, let's see, last week. So let's rewind. Last Thursday, when my last Whip and Chat went out, last Thursday, he had an appointment with a GI doctor, a gastrointestinal doctor. We were able to find one that accepted our insurance and made an appointment. The crazy thing is they were booked up for the doctors until December. So we went with the nurse practitioner, which, you know, I always see PAs, and because sometimes it's really hard to get in with the doctors, right? But they're always just as good. I don't see any difference. They're awesome. So we met with a nurse in the afternoon, and she was really, really nice. She was very thorough. She asked him a ton of questions. Some were, and of course, I'm sitting right there next to him. Some of them were quite embarrassing. You know, asking details about, you know, your bathroom things, and he had to be very specific, and it's a good thing we're close because, you know, you can't be embarrassed, you know, you just gotta, it's a doctor, and if you're having problems, you just gotta tell him. So he was telling her all the things, and after talking to her for about an hour, she's like, "So I'm going to recommend that we do a colonoscopy and see what's going on there." And she said, in addition to that, while we're doing the colonoscopy, I also want to do an upper endoscopy and go down. So we're going to go both ways. And I was like, okay. And he was going to be put under anesthesia. I've never had a colonoscopy, neither has my husband. So this was all new to us. And so this was Thursday, right? And we felt better about after the appointment. We were like, okay. So we had it scheduled, the colonoscopy and the endoscopy. We had that yesterday. So he had that done on Tuesday. Yeah, so it happened pretty quick once we got, and we had to go to a different facility, like a surgery center to have it done. So we did that. We had the doctor's appointment on Thursday, and we were leaving the doctor's appointment, and we're driving, and we're driving on the road, and it's like 5 o'clock because his appointment was like at 4:15, so it was like 5 something. So it was rush hour traffic. It was really getting busy, and it's an area that I'm not really familiar with. I left my little bubble, right? Because I don't work, so I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I don't really go out very far out of my city. But this was in a different city, so we're driving, and I have a car, so I don't have an SUV. I've got a car that's low to the ground, and we're talking, and all of a sudden, the car in front of me changes lanes. So I'm in the far right-hand lane, and there's a guardrail on the right-hand side of me, so I have nowhere to go there. And the car in front of me moves over to the left-hand lane. And when they do that, I see a big white plastic bucket, like a paint bucket, in the road. Yeah. And I tried to swerve, but there was a car next to me on the left-hand side, so I didn't really have anywhere to go. And boom, hit the bucket. I was like, oh no. Thank God we were not hurt. But it did a lot of damage to my car. A lot of damage. I'll insert some pictures here so y'all can see the damage. Yeah, so my husband was out of town. He was at work, and I called him that night and told him what happened. And it was just a day, y'all. Yeah. And he was like, what do you mean you hit something? He's like, is it a small dent, a big dent? I'm like, He goes, just take a picture, because I know you're going to like, say it's a little thing, a ding, and it's like a big gash. So I showed him, and he's like, oh yeah, you're going to need a whole new bumper. I was like, what? Is it that bad? It's like, it's bad. There's like these 2 big nicks, as you can see from the pictures. Yeah. So yeah, that happened. And then the next morning, Friday morning, I called, oh wait, let's back up. So more happened on Thursday. So we had the GI doctor appointment, we hit the bucket. And then, so when on Thursday, when we had got home from school from picking up Lou, Nate, my 17-year-old, was leaving the house. He had just got home from school, and he was leaving, and he had his bathing suit in his hand. And he said he was going to a friend's house to go swim. I was like, okay. So, he goes and does that. And then, later that night, he comes home, and asked him how it was. And he's like, it was good. And he's like, I actually need to tell you something. I was like, oh gosh, this is not good. I was like, what more can I take today? But he was like, so, I told you I was going to so-and-so's house. I'm like, yeah. He's like, that's not where I went. He goes, I went to Mia's house. I'm like, Mia. So the week before last, Nate had a bunch of friends over. Like, there was like three guys and a girl. And we were kind of giving him a hard time. Then I guess she came in the house once, but I didn't see her. But my husband told her. My husband's like, there's a girl out there. Because I was up in the craft room, and they were outside swimming, and they stayed out the whole time. And I said, there's a girl. He goes, yeah, she came in to use the bathroom. But I never saw her. I could just see like a silhouette from outside. I was like, oh, really? So after she left that night, we were like giving him a hard time. And he was like, no, we're just friends. We're all just friends. So when he, the next week, when he told me, actually, the girl that you met, Mia, she's actually my girlfriend. I was like, say what? Wait a second. When did this happen? Y'all, this is his first girlfriend. The girls have never been in the picture. But this explains a lot, because I know if y'all been listening to my other whipping chats, you may have heard me talk about him losing weight. He wanted a scale for his birthday. I told y'all that a week or 2 ago. So it's all kind of making sense. He has lost about, 20, 30 pounds. So he started losing weight. He washed his truck a couple weekends ago, and we thought that was really unusual. So he cares about, his truck. He cares about how he's looking. He wanted to go clothes shopping, which is not like him. He could care less what he was wearing before. Could care less. But now all of a sudden he cared. We noticed we started smelling like cologne, maybe. And we're like, okay. And then to top it off, he shaved his legs. Yes, I didn't even notice. He was in the kitchen, and this is all the stuff that was going on before we found out he had a girlfriend. And once we found out, we're like, oh, it's all making sense. We were in the kitchen one day last week, and Lou was like, Nate, did you shave your legs? And I'm like, what? Because he was making something in the kitchen, something to eat. And he's like, yeah, so what? I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even notice. So he got kind of embarrassed. But, and on top of that, he asked me to buy him some mouthwash. He goes, next time you go to the store, can I get some mouthwash? So it's all making sense, right? He's got a girlfriend. So she came over with a couple other guys, a couple other friends. She came over the next night because we were both like, we want to meet her. Now he told me, he's like, I didn't tell you because I didn't know how to. It felt a little awkward. And I was like, you know what? I get it. Yeah, it's going to be, but I'm glad you told me, it's normal. You're 17, girls are going to start, it's normal. I said, I'm excited for you. I said, I just hope she's nice and she treats you, she treats you good. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, so how long have y'all been dating? Sounded so weird. He goes, about a couple of weeks. I'm like, okay. So I guess kind of like when school started, thereabouts. So yeah. So that happened, and that was kind of a big shocker. And I couldn't wait to tell y'all. I was like, Nate's got now Ryan, his older brother, had a girlfriend back in like middle school, and it lasted like a week, one of those situations where one of his friends had a girlfriend, and Ryan started seeing like the friend of the girlfriend. And he maybe got together with her once, like she came over one time. That was an awkward situation. I don't know if I ever told y'all this story. I might have, but if I haven't, I'll tell it real quick. So back when Ryan was in middle school and had this girlfriend, the mother came to pick up the girls the one time that they had come over. I mean, the other time they had like met at a park. And so the mother, and so I was out front and I went to go meet her because, you know, it's his girlfriend's, this girl's mom, his girlfriend's mom, right? I do that lightly in air quotes because, you know, he's in middle school. And so we're talking out front and she starts to tell me, so we've got younger ones that go to the same elementary school, right? I've got my daughter and she's got her son. And she was complaining about carpool or about like drop off and pick up and all this, the drama with school stuff in the morning and in the afternoon and how it's such a pain. And so we were like commiserating about all that. And then she continues to talk about a situation that happened one morning recently, where she was dropping off her son in the morning and there was a minivan, and I used to have a minivan. And I had a very unique license plate. It said not cool. And then I had a bumper sticker that said I used to be cool, something like, but the license plate said not cool. And I had a big silver minivan. I had a Toyota Sienna. Yeah. And she's telling me, and again, our garage is closed, so she doesn't know she's about to talk about me, but she continues to talk about how this lady stopped in the middle of a street and she couldn't believe it, and she was late for work. And I remember the situation because I remember when Lou was getting out of the car, and she's only like in second grade, like first or second grade, she was little. She honked at us, and there was like nowhere else to go, and she just was jumping out, and it took like a second, and she honked. And I remember I was so mad. I remember looking in my rearview mirror, and I remember seeing the car. Well, it's all starting to come together. And I'm looking at her car as she's sitting there talking about me. And she's like, yeah, there was this mom in this minivan and this license plate that said not cool. And I honked at her and I was so mad. And I was like, I didn't know what to say, y'all. I was shocked. I was like, okay, she's talking about me, but she doesn't know it was me. So what do I do? And this is Ryan's first like girlfriend, right? Well, he stopped seeing her after that. And I really hope he says it was not because of what happened. But after they left, it was really bothering me. And I'm like, you know what? I need to say something. I wasn't brave enough to say anything to her face. I should have, but I was a chicken. But I waited till they left, and I waited a little bit like later on that night, and we had each other's numbers, and I sent her a text message. And I said something like, you know that minivan you were talking about earlier that was, you know, that made you upset that morning? She's like, yeah. I'm like, that was me. I have that minivan. Yeah, that was me. And she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, it's all good. I just wanted to let you know, you never know who, you probably shouldn't be talking about people if you don't know if it's them you're talking about, you know? Just kind of a lesson learned. It taught me a lesson. Just, it's better not to say anything because you never know. So, that was very awkward. So I never saw her again. Good thing. But yeah, so Nate has a girlfriend. Yeah. And then when we found out that Thursday night, Lou came out and she's like, what? He's got a girlfriend? And then we all found out. And then Ryan happened to be out of his room walking down the stairs, and he goes, what? He goes, and they're 16 months apart, right? Ryan's older. And he goes, Nate has a girlfriend before me? Because Ryan's just a late bloomer is what my take on the whole thing is, you know, and that's fine. I haven't really cared. I haven't cared that he doesn't have a girlfriend yet, or he hasn't ever really had one, because they're drama. Girls are drama, and that's the last thing he needs, right? I mean, that's the last thing he needs, because, you know, if y'all been following the channel for a bit, you know, it has not been easy for him. And I've talked a lot about it over the last, year or two, but it's been difficult. Last year was rough, and don't need a girl in the picture. So, but it was funny because we were all like, what? So then, so Friday, she comes over. Like I said, the boy, there was 2 guys and her, and I got to meet her, and so what happened was, Lou met her first because I had to go somewhere. I had to run an errand. So I wasn't here. When they got here, but Lou was, and I walked in and she met me in the kitchen, and she was like, I'm like, where is she? She goes, she's outside. They're swimming. And I'm like, what does she look like? Lou's like, she's really pretty. I go, really? Okay. So then I felt really nervous, and I was so nervous because I wanted to make a good impression, and I didn't want to embarrass Nate, and I didn't want to say too much or too little, you know? It's like, this is all new to me. I don't know what to do. So I was, I kind of waited a little bit, and then it was time to let one of the dogs out. So I kind of nonchalantly walked out there, and I'm like, hey, how's it going? She's like, good. I'm like, oh, nice to meet you. You know, kind of played it cool. And then I started making dinner. And Lou's like, can they eat with us? And we were doing like tacos or something. And I was like, sure, we should have enough. So she hollered out there that, you know, the dinner was almost ready and they could eat with us. So they all came in eventually, and I got to meet her, and she is very, very pretty. It's very, very pretty. She's tall, she's beautiful. And yeah, so go Nate. Yep. And I told him that night, you know, afterward, they stayed for a couple hours, and I got to talk to her a little bit more, and she's really sweet. And I just told, he goes, what'd you think about her? I'm like, I really like her. I think she's very, very nice. And he goes, good, because if you didn't like her, I was going to kind of be, you know, worried. And I said, no, I said, I just hope she, like I said before, I hope she's, you know, treats you nice and she's nice to you. He goes, of course. And Nate's got a really good head on his shoulders, and, you know, he's very responsible. So I hope that, you know, he told me, you know, I'm like, does she play any sports? Is she into anything? He's like, no, you know, she's looking for a job. But they're in the same grade, so they're both juniors. They go to the same school. And he just said that she's a good kid, and she's not into any like drama or, you know, and that's totally him, right? He's not into any of that. So I think so we'll see. I am, you know, told my husband that night, and he was like, what? And even when I told him, Ryan, I think, was sitting next to me on the phone, and he could hear. So he goes, oh, I can't wait to talk to him about it. I'm going to give him a hard time. I was like, oh no, poor Nate. So we're all, you know, asking questions and asking about her. And, I just told my husband that night, or maybe it was the next day, I said, I just hope she doesn't break his heart, you know, cause and he's like, honey, you can't, you know, there's nothing you can do about it. You can't, you know, keep him in a bubble. And I'm like, I know. So yeah, so I was going to talk about Nate. So that's what's happening with Nate this last week, which was super cool. And then Saturday night, I had my Patreon Zoom with the top 2 tiers. They get a monthly Zoom. We had so much fun. There was about 11 of us on there. There was a couple of new people that I had never met before, and I love them, and it was so fun. We had a great time. So if you have not joined Patreon, please do. There's always room for more. If you're not familiar with it, it's a monthly subscription, and it's a way to support your favorite creator. It really does help, more than y'all know. It definitely helps purchase things and keep the channel going. It really does. So, because it gets expensive, you know, trying to buy the things for the videos and all the things. So, it helps. And so if you want to join, it is, like I said, like a monthly subscription. There's like 4 different tiers. So you can do as little or as much as you want. And then all the tiers have different perks. So yeah, join us. And then I decided, I think it was last week, to offer YouTube memberships in addition to Patreon. And I already told my Patreons that nothing will change for them. I'm basically just putting, you know, I'm going to have YouTube memberships and Patreon. I'll have both. And what I thought I liked, because they both offer different things. And what I think is really cool about the YouTube memberships is you can have special, you know, during lives, which, you know, I do go live on Sundays. So I thought, since I go live, I could use, you know, some of the perks that they offer. And that is, you get special, you know, color next to your name so I can see you, because the chat sometimes gets a little crazy. And then you get special emojis that I created. They're a little small. I got to fix them. But yeah, and when I went live on Sunday, I got some members. I got used to, so if you want to join, I think there's a join button down below next to the subscribe button or thereabouts. And yeah, so please join. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun over here. Yep, we try to. That's my number 1 goal, have fun. Yep. So yeah, so we did our Patreon Zoom. It was at 8, and we were on there till about 10. So we were on there for a couple hours and just hanging out and laughing and catching up. Got a great group of people. One of my folks that just joined, like a few days before the Patreon Zoom, I saw her name, right? Her real name, but I didn't know her screen name, her YouTube name. And so I was saying hello to her in the Zoom, and I didn't recognize her face, even though on her YouTube thumbnail she's got her face, but I just didn't put two and two together. And she asked me, she's like, "Do you know who I am? Do you know my YouTube name?" And I said, "No, tell me." And she told me, and I about died. I was like, "What? It's you?" And it's someone that I know, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" So fun seeing faces, and it's not just all about me. I mean, you've got folks on there that are connecting with each other, other, Patreons to Patreons, right? You're getting to know other community members a little bit, closer. So yeah, so that was Saturday night. So that was a lot of fun. And then Sunday we had the live. Like I said, I do go live on Sundays at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. So please join us. It gets a little busy, and I'm trying to keep up with the chat as best I can, but my mods are amazing. I've got moderators that help. And if I miss someone's comment, they always kind of, mention it again, or they'll answer the question for somebody if there's a question, or they'll say hello to everybody coming in. So they'll put links in for everybody. It's awesome. So yeah, my moderators are great. So I really do appreciate them. Ooh, I don't know if y'all want to look up. Can you see it? I know I'm not zoomed in very much today, but this is all those red rhinestones. I forgot to tell y'all when I was putting them down. They're so pretty. They're like around the little windows. This barn's really gonna be pretty. I'm almost done with the square. So yeah, so Sunday was fun. We had a really good live. I did not have a guest. I try to have guests sometimes and introduce you to new creators. So, but yeah, I got some new members. That was exciting. And I got to see some people get little stars next to their names, and it will change over time, I guess. And it tells you how long you've been a member, like for how many months. So yeah, super fun. And then, so on Sunday, this is where we're going to talk about Ryan, my oldest. He had to start doing a 2-day prep for the procedures that he was having on Tuesday. And so all day Sunday, he could only have, he was on a liquid only diet. He could not have anything. He could have Jello, chicken broth, or chicken bouillon. I like saying that name. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. Chicken bouillon, or beef bouillon. And then he could have Jello, popsicles, that he could have pureed soup on Sunday. Now Monday was like pure, just clear liquids. But poor guy, he was starving. We'd gone to the store the day before and picked out, the Gatorades that he needed for the day before. We picked out, some the Jello that he wanted, some popsicles, just some things he could eat. But he was so hungry on Sunday. And so I kind of was helping him, what can he eat, what can he not? And you can't have anything red or purple. So, and for those of you that have been through this procedure before, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. This was all new to us. So yeah, we kind of were just following the paperwork on the 2-day prep. I couldn't believe he had to do 2 days. And like I said, he's already thin, and I hated denying him of food. I was like, oh gosh, that boy needs to eat. But we knew it's what we had to do. So he got through that on Sunday, and Monday was pretty rough. You're taking the Dulcolax, the stool softeners, and you're doing the Miralax. He had to do Miralax Sunday, and magnesium citrate. I mean, all these things. And then he had to drink a ton of Gatorade and Miralax on Monday. So my day on Monday was basically checking on him, seeing how he was doing. And then every 30 minutes, he had to drink an 8-ounce glass of Gatorade with the Miralax mixed in there. Yeah. So, but you know what they told us? They said, you know what? It's going to be a waste of your money and our time and everything if you don't do what you're supposed to do. We're not going to be able to see anything. So yeah, he did great. He went through all the things. He was just so hungry. This is where I messed up. So his procedure was scheduled for 8 o'clock on Tuesday morning. So yesterday morning for me. And so on the paperwork, on Sunday, it said, you're going to have 2 glasses left over of the Gatorade Miralax mix that you will drink the morning of your procedure. And I was like, okay, so that's how I read it. And when you read it, it's very confusing. You could read it either way. And it told us to be at the procedure center, at the surgery center, 45 minutes before the procedure. They opened at 7. So we were going to be there at 7:15. So I woke Lou up for school. And then my husband took over. I got her breakfast, and he made her lunch, and he took her to school. He was awesome. So he took over all that. Ryan and I headed out there. He grabbed his Gatorade, and he drank some of it on the way there. Right before as we pulled up to the place, he was still drinking it. Now, I should know better. I should know better. And I know y'all are probably like, what? When you're going to go under anesthesia, you're not supposed to eat or drink anything after midnight, typically the night before. But I was just following the directions, right? And I thought it was weird. So did he. But we were like, well, that's what the paperwork says. So we get there. Everything's all good. He's hungry. He's like ready to get this over with. So he, hold on. I think I'm done with this square. Yeah. I get to move on, y'all. Awesome. So he, I'm going to use my little ceramic cutter. If y'all have never seen this before, it's just like a tiny, tiny little blade, and it doesn't really cut through anything. It doesn't. And I push down really hard. I just kind of lean it up against the washi tape, the border right there. And I just slice off that section, see? And then I'll slice off the side of the other one. And yeah, I wonder if I can move everything down. Let's moving on down. Okay, we've got it. And then I've got the dime painting rolled up over here because it's really long. I have it rolled up and I have little binder clips on the sides. And then it's hanging off my desk in front, right here. All right, so he goes in, they call his name. And, you know, the tricky part right now for him is he's 18, right? He turned 18 in April. So the paperwork, some of it I'm like, okay, does he sign? Do I sign? Does he bring his ID? Do I bring my ID? You know, he's considered an adult now. So I'm glad I told him to bring his wallet because sure enough, they asked for his ID. But I still signed some of the paperwork for him. I don't know, we both were signing everything. And so they call his name and I stayed in the waiting room because I thought, this is where we part ways, right? And I don't go back there with him. Well, he's back there for a few minutes and they call my name. And I'm like, okay, I should have. And I said, oh, okay, I didn't know if I was supposed to come back. She's like, no, that's fine. It was a nurse. And she takes me back to the room that he's in. And she's like, so Mom, Ryan's telling me that he drank some Gatorade this morning. Is that true? And how much did he drink? And so I was like, uh-oh. And then I thought, at this point, I'm not really sure if maybe he didn't drink enough or what. So I was like, so I didn't lie. I just told her, just like he had told her, you know, the truth. And she goes, so, I need to talk to the anesthesiologist, but I don't think they're going to be able to do the procedure at 8 like it was planned. I think we're going to have to push it back. And I was like, oh. So the anesthesiologist walks in and she goes, yeah. And I said, he didn't drink very much. She goes, it doesn't matter. We need to push it back to 10 a.m. versus 8. Yeah, we had already, and it was only like 7:15, right? So he was already undressed. Well, he already was undressed and in the bed by the time I got back there. And they said, so what do you want to do? Do y'all want to leave and come back? And I looked at him and I brought my little suitcase of paint gems, my diamond painting. So that I was glad. I had my coffee, had my diamond paintings. He had his phone and he was already undressed and I felt so bad. And so they left the room and I said, we'll just stay here if that's okay. If we can use this room to just stay here. She's like, yeah, that's fine. We sat there for 3 hours, almost 3 hours. Yeah, because they didn't come in till about 10:15. Oh my gosh. And he's not much of a conversationalist. He's just on his phone most of the time. So I was just diamond painting away. I finished one of my paint gems and I started working on another one. Yeah. So, and I felt so bad because he was so hungry. He was like getting moody and agitated. And he's like, Mom, why didn't you? I'm like, I did read the paperwork. I said, I'm sorry. I said, will you forgive me? He goes, why do I need to forgive you? I'm like, oh my gosh. So we were just like at each other. So sometimes we butt heads. I was like, okay, we just need to like calm down. I said, they're going to be coming in soon. He's like, no, they're not. We still have another hour. So we were just, we weren't happy. Were waiting there. So finally they came in and they started doing the IV drip. And then finally, 3 hours later, and I'm starving. I didn't eat breakfast because we left the house at like 6:45. I thought we were going to be home by like, 9, maybe 10 at the latest. So I called my husband and I told him what happened once they, took him back. But I was so done. So then I had to sit in the waiting room and I didn't even want to diamond paint anymore or look at my phone. I was just watching TV. They had a TV playing with like local news. So that was good. But I just was like so over it. I was hungry. My coffee was gone. I just wanted to go home. So, and poor guy, I mean, he was going through it too, obviously more than I was. And so then, it was about, he went back there about 10:15 and at about 11:30, it was about 11. It didn't take very long, about 45 minutes. They called me and said he's in recovery and I could come back. So she's walking me back there and she's like, you can touch him. and you can talk to him. That's actually going to help us wake him up. She goes, but he's still sleeping. I said, okay. She goes, now we had to give him a little bit extra of, y'all, I think it's the stuff that Michael Jackson was abusing. I don't know, that profanol or propofenol, whatever, I don't know how you pronounce it, but anyways. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's the stuff that Michael Jackson took and like OD'd on, I think. And he wouldn't wake up. He would not wake up. She tried waking him up when she first took me in there. She's like shaking his shoulder and he's like got a bobblehead and he's just out. And y'all, it took about 30 minutes and she just like leaves me there with him with the curtain open and everything, of course. But I'm just like, she's like, talk to him and just try to wake him up. I'm like, okay. So I'm like talking to him. I'm rubbing his head. I'm rubbing his cheek, other than like slapping his cheek. You know, I didn't want to hurt him, but I was like, Ryan, wake up. Totally ignoring me. But then when the nurse would come in, she's like, Ryan, you're in recovery. This is the nurse. He would kind of flicker his eyes a little bit and then go right back under. So it was like 11:30. He was like, started finally to open up his eyes. And she took the IV out, which was disgusting. When they did the IV, I definitely did not look. Because, you know, blood, needles and all that. I can't do it. Cannot do it. And the nurse was like, ooh, he's got a big vein on his arm. I was like, oh my gosh, lady. She's like, I'm like, oh, I can't look. And she goes, oh, my husband thinks I'm weird. He calls me a vampire because I love to look at people's veins. I was like, oh. So, yeah, he finally woke up. He was so out of it. And the nurse was like, okay, so we need to try to get him awake enough to where he can get dressed and we can get y'all out of here. I was like, okay. So she's like, now one of us needs to be in the room while he's getting dressed. Do you want it to be me or do you want it to be you? And I said, you can do it. I was like, I don't really need to see my son naked. I don't think he would want me to see him naked. And plus I don't know how to get people dressed that are like, you know, half asleep still. So I'm like, she's a professional. I'm going to let her do it. So he starts to open up his eyes a little bit more and she's trying to talk to him. She's like, Ryan, she's like, and he told me afterwards, he doesn't even remember this. She's like, we're going to you need to get dressed, buddy. You need to wake up. And then she said, do you want, one of us needs to be in here. Do you want your mom to help you get dressed or me? And he pointed over to me. He mumbled something. And then she's like, okay. I'm like, all right, guess it's me. Y'all, it was disgusting. Not him, but he had a robe on, right? And I'm not going to get into detail, but the robe. So anyways, he's got the robe on and it's like not tied in the back. It's just loose, right? So we're trying to do all this with keeping the blanket and the robe on him still while he's trying to get dressed. I grab his shirt and he takes it from me and he puts it over his head and he starts putting his sleeves in, his arm in the sleeves. And I'm like, buddy, you still have your robe on. We got to take the robe off first. It was so, it was ridiculous. I didn't know what I was doing. He was half out of it still. And so then, and he's got the IV and it's all taped up and it's bleeding. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I made him take his sleeves out and he was fighting me. He didn't want to bend his elbow to pull the sleeve out. So I was like, no, buddy, you relax. we got to take your shirt off. And so then he starts taking it off his head. I'm like, no, just your arms. We got to get the robe off. So we get his sleeves and we get his arms out of the sleeves. And so the robe's out his waist and he's got, he's all covered up still. And we get his shirt on. And then I go to grab his underwear and his pants and I hand him his underwear and he's trying to put them on with the robe getting caught up in them and the blanket and the sheets. So then I go to like pull the robe out and it was, disgusting. I felt like a nurse. It's like, I need gloves. Where's my gloves? Why am I doing this? I'm not trained for this. This isn't, but it is my kid, y'all. It's my son, right? So I got to do it. Yeah. So I got rid of all that stuff and threw it on. I didn't know where to put it. I'm like holding it in my hands going, where's like the bin where you put the dirty robes? I don't know where to, so I just like threw it on the ground and tried to strip the bed so he wasn't in any of it and getting his clothes in it. Y'all, it was comedy, y'all. I was exhausted by the time it was over. So then he gets his underwear on. And so then I'm going to grab his pants and he kind of grabs them, trying to help out. And he puts his pants on his head. And I start cracking. I'm like, Ryan, those are your pants. You already have your shirts. He's trying to put his pants on his head. And so we finally get the pants on. and I'm stripping the bed. I'm trying to get all the stuff away from him. And he goes, I need to go to the bathroom. I'm like, okay. So at this point, the curtain's closed, right? So I'm trying to open up the curtain and hold on to him at the same time so he doesn't fall over. And I'm trying to find the nurse to see if it's okay if he goes to the bathroom. And like, how do we do this? Because he's totally out of it still. And should he be walking? And does she have to be with us? I mean, I didn't know what to do. So I, tear open the curtain with him, one hand, and I'm holding on to him with the other hand. And I can't find her. So we stumble to the bathroom across the way and it's locked. There's somebody in there. I was like, oh my gosh. So we head back to the room and he tries to go in the wrong room. And I'm like, no, buddy, we're not in that one. That's somebody else's room. So, so I have him sit on the bed and I'm like, no, don't sit there because that's dirty. Just sit on the end of the bed. And he kept trying to get up. And I'm like, buddy, there's someone in the bathroom. We're just waiting. And so finally the nurse comes in. I'm like, yeah, he needs to use the bathroom. She's like, oh yes, use that one. I'm like, someone's in there. So they finally come out. So then she's gone again. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm doing this. And I said, buddy, I'm going to have to go with you because you can't go to the bathroom by yourself. I'm afraid you're going to fall. He's like, okay. So we go into the bathroom together. And I said, I'm not going to look. So I'm just going to be behind you, but I'm just going to be right here. So his pants are like barely pulled up and his underwear all twisted. So he starts going to the bathroom and I'm right behind him. And I kind of just look over my shoulder to make sure he's okay. And he starts like stumbling back and he's like starting to pee everywhere. So I put my hand on his back and on his shoulders. I'm like, whoa, hold on. Let me get you up. Let me get you where you need to be. And I'm holding on to his shoulders the whole time while he continues to pee. I'm like, this is something else. Good thing he was totally out of it because I think he would have felt very uncomfortable about his mom holding on to him while he was peeing. So I help him, pull up his pants because he can't do it. And I was like, oh my gosh. So y'all, after that, so we go back in the room and we're waiting for the nurse and she comes in and she's got the discharge paperwork and all that. And we get him in the car and it's about noon at this point. I'm like, okay, I'm hungry. I'm like, do you want me to stop somewhere? And he's like, no, I want to go home. I'm like, okay, that's what I figured. Because we had talked about him being so hungry and us stopping on the way home to get food. Well, he just wanted to go home and I totally get it. So we get home and we get in the car and I can kind of smell poop. And I'm like, okay. I said, buddy, when he starts coming out of it a little more, I'm like, when you get home and you're more with it, I'm like, you need to take a shower. And I'm like looking at my car seat going, oh God, I need to wipe my car seat, my seat in my car. Y'all, we are just a bumbling mess. So we get him home. My husband was here. Thank God he worked from home that week. So this week, he helped us get into the house and got him on the couch and he kept trying to get up and we're like, no. He's like, I just want to go upstairs and lay down because his room's upstairs. We're like, no, you're not walking up the stairs. He goes, I want to take a shower. And we're like, you will in a minute. And we're trying to get him to eat something. And we gave him like a bar and some water. And he finally, was coming out of it. But after he went upstairs, I helped him go upstairs. It was about 1 o'clock and I have to pick up Lou at like 2:30. And I just was like, why am I so tired? I felt like I just kind of sat around and waited all day, but sometimes it's exhausting just doing that. And just, even though you're not doing anything, you are like mentally, I was worried about him and it was just, it was scary. The doctor did come in. I forgot to tell you all that part. While he was still out of it, she did come in and say hello to me and told me what she found. Great news. His colon is clear. So I was like, whew, because we didn't know if there was something going on. It's clear. They did do a biopsy with the upper endoscope, and that's going to take 2 weeks to get that back. They're checking for like celiac, see if he needs to be gluten-free and all that kind of stuff and seeing, but they did put him on he has to take a probiotic every morning and another prescription. I forget what it's called, Panzola or something like that. So I need to go to the pharmacy today and get those for him. But yeah, what a day, y'all. And I needed to go to the pharmacy yesterday, but I got home, got him situated. I ate something and I just was like exhausted. So I just laid on the bed and just like chilled on my phone for like an hour and I started to fall asleep. And I stayed up too late the night before. I couldn't sleep. And so, yeah, then it was time to go get Lou. And yeah, he is going to be back at school today. He's got his first college class at noon and they said he'd be good to go. He just couldn't drive yesterday, but his appetite's back. He's able to eat. And we do have to go back to the doctor in 8 weeks. So I called this morning and made that appointment. So yeah, I'm just trying to get back in the swing of things. I called the adjuster for my car. So I've got to take it to the dealership and get an estimate and see how much that's going to cost. Oh my gosh, y'all. if it's not one thing, it's another, right? I mean, I'm just so glad that his, you know, results came back so far okay, and they're gonna try to fix it with some other things. So, and get him, you know, healthy again and get him feeling better, because that's the goal, you know? Yeah, so, yeah, that's kind of been it. Let's see, today's Wednesday. So the day that y'all are watching this, I should be hanging out with Randy, my best friend, who's also on YouTube. Her channel is called You Can Call Me Butter. For those of you that don't know her, go check her out. We talked earlier in the week, and I need to follow up with her today. And she's gonna be coming over to play on Thursday. So yeah, so we should be diamond painting and just hanging out. We might even go shopping, out to lunch, who knows? Who knows what kind of trouble we'll get into, but we always have a good time. And I haven't seen her in a while, so yeah, it's always hard sometimes with, you know, doctor's appointments and things both going on that we have to get together sometimes. But yeah, so I'm gonna see her on Thursday. So tomorrow we're gonna hang out. Let's see, this weekend, what's coming up? What's coming up, y'all? I am going live on Wednesday. No, on Sunday, I'm going live. I don't plan to have a guest, so it'll just be me. So please join us. And I think that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and say goodbye. I'm gonna let y'all go, and I'm gonna go ahead and put that clip in here at the end of the winner from last week. So good luck to you, and thank y'all again for everything. Let me know how you're doing in the comments. Please, please, please let me know how you are, and I hope you're doing okay, or I hope you're better now that we got to hang out. Maybe I made you laugh. I don't know, but if I did, I hope I can, you know, just keep you company for a little bit, right? Sometimes that's all we need, is just to hang out with someone and, you know, listen, and I'm here. So, all right, y'all, I'm gonna let you go. But before y'all head out, if you can give me a thumbs up on the video down below, just click the thumbs up. I would appreciate it. They really do help. And then if you have not subscribed, it's free. It's totally free. Just click that subscribe button down below. And then there's there's the notification bell right next to that. And if you click on the notification bell and click all, then you'll get notified whenever I post up any new videos. And I've got some good stuff coming in. I've got some stuff I've in the mail that came in that I need to unbox. I've got some product reviews to do for some companies. So yes, some more videos are coming, and I appreciate everybody that, you know, continues to support me and watch my videos, because I know there's other things you could be doing, but I appreciate you spending your time with me, and I hope it's helpful. So, all right, I'm gonna get out of here. I love you guys so much. Take care, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Okay, y'all take care. Go ahead and stay tuned for the little video clip from last week for the winner, okay? All right, y'all take care. All right, bye. All right, y'all, we are here to do last week's giveaway, okay? So all I've done so far is I just in the YouTube random comment picker, and I put the URL from last week's video, and the word was heart. And I've got to solve the math. 4 + 6 is 10, and let's get the YouTube comments. There was a total of 88 comments. Thank y'all so much. That's a ton of people commenting. Really do appreciate that. Okay, let's go down and let's pick a winner. We're gonna do the finger drum roll. And look for your name. Michelle Groves, congratulations. She said, the heart is my absolute favorite shape because we need people with heart in this world. I 100% agree. Michelle, congratulations. Thank you so much for commenting on participating with us. Go ahead and reach out to me. I have my information listed down below. So y'all, we'll give Michelle a week to get back to me, and if she doesn't, then we'll redraw. But congratulations again. Reach out to me and I will get you your prizes. All right, love y'all so much. Talk to you later. All right, bye guys.